fortune is in the follow-up, and that's 100% true. And if you don't have a follow-up process, this one right here guarantees going to increase your productivity and get you results. You know, it's one thing to put social media content out there, but it's another thing to have that content actually turn into a lead. And then it's another thing to have that lead turn into an actual client. It feels good. I know some of you guys have been there. I know many of you guys are looking to get to that point. So I'm going to teach you a quick, just a quick, simple method on what to do. A lot of times, guys, you see whenever you go online and you're promoting your business or you're creating, good content with a call to action, you're going to have people raise their hand and say, I would like to learn more. Now, the number one step in that is, the first thing I will tell you is reach back on a timely fashion. You know, the number one reason why somebody responded to your post or to your call to action, it was emotional. So people respond to emotions, not logic, right? But unfortunately, our emotions as human beings look like this. So if I'm here and I respond to your call to action, but I don't hear back from you till the next day, I'm probably here, I'm probably not going to respond. Has that ever happened to you? Comment below. Have you ever had somebody like, yeah, man, I'm interested, and then like the next day, ghost town? Comment below if that has happened to you. What's up, Arturo? Appreciate you. If that's happened to you, comment. That's happened to me before at the beginning. So one of the things that you want to do, step number one, is respond like instantly. Now, if you don't have, if you work a full-time job, maybe you do your business on the side, figure out a way where you can either have somebody even respond on your behalf. Because the reason why that person responded to your post is because they're on an emotional. You got them thinking emotionally. So step number one. Step number two, okay, let's say that, I see your post and I say, man, that's interesting. I want to learn more. What tools and resources are you going to use to educate me? Right? So inside of sales, there's depending on the level of trust that you have with your audience, and depending on what type of product you sell is going to determine what your exposure is. So let's list all the exposures. You have videos. Hey, I'm going to send you this YouTube link. You have phone calls. Hey, I'm going to give you a call. You have, events. Hey, man, come to this event. We're going to be hosting this event. You have text message. You have emails. And then some of them, depending on your product or service, I know some of my friends sell, products, and they send people to a link, so they do very little. So depending on your product or service, so what does that mean? If you're selling like a $5 item, physical item, you could probably send people to a link. There's no need for you to send them a video unless they want to know some more information. If you're selling something high-end, like real estate, or something that involves contracts or something that is serious, you probably need a phone call or some type of webinar or some type of video. And the reason why is it takes more trust for somebody to say, man, okay, you're my guy. I'm going to buy a house from you. It's not just something you do over the, over the internet. So you got to understand what type of tool resources am I going to use, and depending on your level of trust too. So you got to start gauging how your audience trusts you. If they're a stranger, you don't know them from anywhere, they were a referral, most of the time you're going to have to get on a phone call. They're not just going to buy from you blindly, or they want to meet you, if possible, if they're in the same city as you, they're going to want to meet you in person. If it's a stranger and it's a low, it's like a $5, $6 product, something, you can buy online, then you can probably still send them a link or just text message them. Because it's not that, there's no trust needed for a $5, $10 product. But the higher the product is, then the more trust needed, then the more work and exposures that's needed, all right? So step number one in the follow-up process. So let's say that, let's see, who's on here? Marcus. All right, Marcus. Marcus, let's say, okay, I post something online, and you respond and you say, man, I'm interested. I would definitely love to learn more information. So I'm gonna pick my tool and resource, right? I'm gonna either pick a phone call or video or something. Usually that's my method, a phone call or video. Have it already in my phone, ready to show you. The first thing you want to do is after we've spoken, and after you've seen the video, that's where the real work starts, right? So you've seen the video, and you can either become, you can become a ghost, I never hear from you again, or you can become more engaged. So this follow-up process is 3 steps. Step number 1, after they review the information, you want to set up your first follow-up, right? Saying, hey, I know you've reviewed the video, and your follow-ups need to be appointments. One of the things that I see people do is they say, I'll follow up with you. Like, it's very open-ended. It's like, oh, when, man? When you gonna follow up with me? So the first thing you want to do is set the follow-up as an appointment. So, hey, man, listen, my schedule is busy, Marcus. When's a good time to follow up? I have Wednesday available and Thursday. Which one works best for you? So I'm gonna set the actual follow-up date, the follow-up appointment as an appointment. And once you tell me what it is, then I'm gonna put it on my calendar and I'm going to add you as a guest. Why? Because the problem is people have flimsy follow-ups. So then whenever you go to follow up with them, it's not a set date. You're bothering them. They're like, oh, I'm busy, man. I can't do, man. I'm just too busy. So what ends up happening is they start avoiding you to the point where you start just randomly hitting them up. And now it's a game of chasing, and you're at the losing end of it because you're the desperate one. But when I set up an appointment, this is how that phone call is going to sound. So let's say that it's Wednesday, 2 p.m., and me and Marcus have this calendar date that I'm supposed to follow up and just to get his feedback on our initial exposure. Hey Marcus, this is Tom, man. Just wanted to follow up with you as promised. I always say that, as promised. You set this appointment up, not me. You set this date up, not me. Following you up as promised, man. If he answers, great. You go through whatever scripts and stuff your business has. If he doesn't, the voicemail sounds like this. Hey, just following up as promised. Now, the first voicemail, you never want to sound condescending, like, oh, you stood me up, desperate. What you want to say is you want to assume something bad happened. Hey, man. Hey, Marcus, I appreciate, this is Tom, man. Hey, listen, I'm just calling you as promised. Listen, man, I hope all is well. So that's what I start off with. I don't know if you got, I don't know what happened. Hope all is well. I'm just giving you a call as we promised. Give me a call back as soon as possible. So this is at the set follow-up date, right? So let's say that, I never hear back from Marcus after this phone call. Then I'm going to call back 48 hours later after the initial call 2. And it's going to sound like this. He's either going to answer or he's not. If he answers, great. Hey, Marcus, just calling you back. Hope, is everything cool? He's going to give you his excuse. But let's say that Marcus doesn't answer. Hey, Marcus, listen, just giving you a call back as promised. Listen, I hope all is well. Hey, man, listen, if you don't like the information that I shared with you, or maybe it wasn't for you, maybe this product or service is not for you, maybe this opportunity is not for you, all is well, man, just let me know. So I'm giving him an out. Hey, man, give them an out. Because one of the things that people don't realize is your follow-up process, if you have the right posture, it's to weed people out. Well, you're not even following up on dates that we had in a conversation that we had. I'm gonna have to get you out of the way. So you're weeding people in or you're weeding people out. So follow-up 2 is you're saying, hey, man, hey, listen, I'm calling you back again. Haven't heard from you again. I hope all is well. But listen, hey, if you don't like the information, or maybe there wasn't a fit, whatever it was, hey, I'm giving you a way out, man. Hey, no worries, man. Just let me know. Shoot me a text or give me a call. Who's on here? Right, exactly. As promised. That's good. Oh, yeah, I got that from one of my guys, right? So this is number 2, right? This is number 3. He doesn't answer here, doesn't answer here. This is the takeaway. Hey, listen, John. Hey, first of all, appreciate our initial conversation, man. Hey, listen, I haven't heard back from you at all. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and scratch you off my list. Listen, bro, I won't be calling you back regarding this in the future, but I have so many people that are on my waiting list. So I'm taking it away. And here's what happens. When he hears that email, let's say that he was genuinely busy here, or he was avoiding you because he was busy, he's probably going to call you back after that 3rd one. This right here increased my business crazy when I started doing that. When I started doing the takeaway. Listen, man, hey, I'm going to go ahead and scratch you off my list. Listen, and I'm not even rude. Here's one of the things you want to do in your follow-up. Don't be rude about it. Still have posture. Here's why. Because I told him I won't be contacting him regarding this again, but I will. It's going to be after the first 3, I put him on a 3-month follow-up. And my 3-month follow-up after this, I take it away. My 3-month follow-up is a list. Every 3 months, I have a new list to follow up with where I say, hey, listen, we have this new update. I call it the update deflection. Got it from my guy, Ray Higdon. Update deflection. And I'm basically going to say, hey, man, listen, we announced this new product. We announced this new blah, blah, blah. We have this new, whatever, something new in your businesses or in your product, service, or opportunity. Hey, we have this new, who do you know? So I'd say, who do you know? Who do you know? Because I didn't get emotional here, and because I postured up, I have the permission to follow up with him in 3 months and say, hey, this is going on. Just curious, who do you know? You know, like for example, if right now during the coronavirus, I'm in the life insurance industry. So we were calling people saying, hey, you know, a lot of life insurance companies are holding apps right now. Who do you know that may be in the process of getting life insurance? They need to get it now because, and some people are like, man, you know what? I think I want to do it now. Or, you know, man, you know what? Or let's say like you're trying to recruit somebody for a business and there's an update in your company. Hey, man, they just announced this trip. And listen, we're going to go, you know, we're going to Hawaii. Who do you know that's looking to win a trip to Hawaii? And then that person may re-engage. They may be like, you know what? My life is not, nothing's going on in my life. I want to check this out again. Or they may give you a referral. Or they may stay the way they are and nothing. And then what happens? Another 3-month follow-up. So my point to you is, after the initial, you know, whatever they like your product, service, and then, or they seen the presentation, I'm sorry, have this mapped out, your first 3 follow-ups, then your 3-month, and then every 3 months until they pass away, then you keep following up with them. This is where we all drop the ball. This is where I should have implemented this even earlier in my business, and you know why? The statistic that caught my attention to learn this was this guy. He was like a stud in his business. He had, you know, crazy amount of clients, crazy amount of agents on his team. And what he said was, he's like, 95% of my studs and everything and my big clients come from this process. And then I was like, wow. He said the problem is people are so emotional here because you didn't, you know, do business with them, that they burned the bridge. And then what happens is the follow-up process is already tainted, and if they even have one at that. So what I realized is, keep my posture here, and then take them through this process. Why? It's more professional. You basically creating a net for the rest of your life to get some type of result from this process here. So 1, 2, 3, then every 3 months. And then I looked at what I was doing before, and it was pretty embarrassing. I was just calling. Like when I got emotional, I need some clients today, man. I was just calling the same people. And then when I looked at my call log, I was like, damn, I called that guy last week, 2 weeks before. He's probably already annoyed by me. But once I started doing this, I got some more posture in my business. And people are like, oh, wow, you know what? I'll definitely do that with you. Like I remember I did this. I used to work at State Farm. And at State Farm, we had a cold call. And we had to call about 400 or 500 people a day. And at the beginning, when people hung up or people got mad or people, you know, I was a little emotional. I was like, whatever. But then towards the last 6 months I was there, I started to implement a follow process, and people were like, hey, call me back this and this date. So I put that in my notes, put a bunch of notes. And what I realized is when I started doing that, I started increasing how many clients I would sell. So have a process and have a funnel and have this all ready to go. Have this already mapped out so that you can start to increase your close rate. Because the majority of your big clients, the majority of your big whatever you're looking for in your business are going to come in this process right here. They're not going to come up front. It takes 6 to 7 exposures sometimes in business for people to make a decision. So why is that different for you? Because we get caught up here. He didn't become my client after that first phone call. He didn't become my client or my recruit after that first video. Man, forget him. No, man, just posture up and put them through that process there. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, feel free to like, share, comment. As always, your success is important to me. He says.